tanks, artillery, and aircraft. They had been repelled in Kiev, but had come in hard in his part of the world, slaughtering everyone in their path. He'd lost his parents, wife, and children in the onslaught, and become ensconced behind enemy lines. He could have done like others, choosing to flee into the woods, but he did not. He'd heard President Zelensky say, "I don't need evacuation, I need ammunition," and thought, "That's right, that's what I need," and chose to stay. He'd ingratiated himself with the new Russian occupation, acting if he was just too cowardly to run and supportive of their efforts, helping them when they'd asked, but watching when they weren't, waiting on the day to come when he could get retribution, waiting to start the death count. He didn't know when that day would come, or how, but he knew it would. It had, when he was walking with a friend and they had seen a Russian soldier drunk, the man staggering around in the streets of their small town. The friend said, "Let's kill that fuck." Perun had been shocked at the utterance, because any sign of disloyalty would bring instant repercussions if it were known, and nobody trusted anyone anymore in the lockdown they lived within. Sympathizers were insidious and everywhere. He'd said, "You want to fight them?" The man, now fearful at what he'd uttered, hesitantly said, Yes, I do. You?" Perun gave a wolf grin and said, "Oh yeah. How many others think like us?" "I don't know. Let's go kill that fuck while we have the chance." And Perun knew he had a new path in life, one that would help his country. He said, "No, we don't kill him. We find others like us, but slowly, find them quietly." In 2 months, he had a network. In 4, he had connections to NATO's special forces, who trained them in the dark arts. In 5, he was killing Russians. Now, almost a year after he'd begun to kill, he wasn't sure it ever even mattered. Regardless of what they did, the Russians continued on. His small band would make the news, giving some morale boosts to the citizens of Ukraine. But they never accomplished what he wanted, the ejection of the Russians from Ukrainian soil. He thought about his family often, the death of everything he loved coming to naught, despite one raid after another. He'd come to believe that nothing they did mattered. He was losing kids half his age on raids that did little more than poke a pinprick in the Russian bear. Yeah, they'd assassinated some important Russian officers and officials, and had made some spectacular attacks against the Russian military machine. But the hunt to find them had caused many, many innocent people to be slaughtered. He'd had a growing conviction that anything he did would only bring more sorrow to the people he was trying to protect, and that there was only one man who could decide their fate, one person he could eliminate, like the generals he'd killed, that would cause the success he wanted. But that wish was impossible. And then, he'd met a man who thought the same way. Only he was a Russian. Dishka said, "What's wrong?" "I told you they all made it back. It was a good hit. 3 Russian officers, and all of our men made it out. They made the mistake of driving down the same road again. Good intelligence." Perun gave a weary smile and said, No, it's good. Sorry. I'm just tired of these little strikes." "What? You want to do another airfield hit? I'm game. But they've upped their security since the last one. It will be hard. What's the Ukrainian command think of that idea?" Perun rubbed his hands, thinking if he should tell Dishka what he'd been working on, wondering if it was something he would believe. He said, "No, nothing like that. Bring in the others. Only the leaders. I have to discuss something in a war council. We need a decision." Dishka nodded, unsure of what was being asked, but went to get the others in their band. They called themselves the Wolves. They had no formal chain of command with the Ukrainian army, and were just one cell of many killing the Russians, but they had proven to be better than most. In fact, the best cell of partisans in the entire theater. They would listen to the Ukrainian high command, taking their intelligence and their training, but would